friends. Welcome back to Block Bytes and the weekly crypto recap. Let's start with the market. The market has been mixed. We see some big green tokens as well as we see some red tokens. Ethereum has shown a jump of around 3% this week. Well, actually, you know what? Let me change this to the week. Yeah, that's much more like it. Sorry about that. So where were we? Ethereum has shown a jump of around 4%, and we obviously know that Bitcoin has jumped around 6% according to Crypto Bubbles. Other notable names include Rune, which has outperformed everything else as far as I know. IOTA, the IoT decentralized project with the latest came out with the collaboration news. It has jumped again, and we see a couple of other green uh, tokens here as well. Solana obviously has gone almost 10%. So it's been a mixed bag this week in crypto markets. Let's take a look at the amount of money inflow into the market now. Okay, so according to CoinShare's latest report, this week the crypto market has seen 346 million US dollars of inflows into the market, and it marks the ninth consecutive week run positive inflows into the crypto market. As we have seen, as we see from this graph, it has never happened before. This is unprecedented. And where has most of this fund gone? Just like every other week, most of it has gone into Bitcoin. Then we see Ethereum as the second, and Solana as the third asset, which has seen most of the inflows. So this is where all the new money is getting parked for obvious reasons. If we've been following the news around Bitcoin ETFs as we get closer to the January dates of ETF application deadlines, actually. Let's move on to the first news of this week. All right. So last week we covered a news from the Cosmos ecosystem where the community had voted against, voted for reducing the inflation of the Atom token from, I think, 14% down to 10%. And it was quite a tight race with almost 40% in favor and 30 odd percent not in favor of that particular change. Following that, Cosmos's co-founder Jay Kwan has said that he would like to split the Cosmos chain into a different chain now. He was not happy with the decision that the majority made, and he feels like the best way forward would be to split the chain into two. Now, only time will tell what it actually means for the entire ecosystem. But people within the community and within the crypto who are more experienced than I am feel that this is actually a positive move for Cosmos. Perhaps this is similar to the Ethereum and Ethereum Classic hard fork that we saw quite some time back, and we know what actually happened. Ethereum Classic is nowhere, and Ethereum is where it is at the moment. So overall, it appears to be a positive move on behalf of the Cosmos ecosystem, or by Jay Kwan particularly. So I'm going to just read out why this is bullish according to somebody, according to some people. The fork would be very bullish. For years, political tension has impeded the development of the hub, most notably when Atom 2.0 proposal was vetoed in the fall of 2020. Without Jay's conservatism, Cosmos Hub will become more innovative. So people who have agreed to the original proposal of reducing the inflation welcome this proposal by Jay, as they feel that he is very conservative, and his point of view is actually what is causing a lot of bottlenecks in the growth of Cosmos as an ecosystem. So they're looking forward to it, and if that happens, they feel that the original atom chain is going to perform much better now with Jay and his people who support him are or on his side out of the picture. So interesting news. The token actually did not perform well, which makes sense. Let me see if I can find it here. Oh, here we go. So the news came out somewhere in around in 27th of November, when it was around this mark, and then we see that it actually has gone down. It has tried to come up a little bit, but we see a little bit of a downturn as well. But this was like a steep fall since the proposal to fork the Cosmos ecosystem was made public. So we'll see what happens, but it's interesting turn of event for the Cosmos ecosystem. Moving on, we'll see a lot of Tron today and Justin Sun, and this is one of the news that is around Tron. So Tron has overtaken BTC, or Bitcoin has Hamas's and Hezbollah's blockchain of choice. So what has happened is the Israeli government had tracked down some of the wallet activity, and they found out that a bulk of Tron wallets were seized throughout this year will belong to the Axis of Resistance, which comprises of Gaza-based terrorist group like Hezbollah and Hamas. So Tron appears to be the network of choice for the terrorist groups out there, which is certainly not a good news for Tron. And this is probably not going to bode well for Tron going forward. And we'll look at why this is going to be the case in the subsequent news. Obviously, Justin Sun, who is the founder of Tron, came out and said that it's a decentralized protocol, etc., etc. But they're committed to combating terrorist finance by integrating various projects and etc. So it's standard statement and nothing out of the ordinary. But I think people would like to see more than just words in this regard. And by people, I mean governments. Um, it is quite possible that the OFAC and the U.S. Justice Department would come down hard on Tron and ask them to block these wallet addresses, and maybe also indulge it's quite possible that the next year might be tough for Justin Sun, because it is not just this particular incident. There is more to it. So let's just go on and see why there is more to it. I'm going to skip over to the some of these news, but going to come back to it because we are in the Tron phase here. So I'm just going to finish all the Tron news in one go. So November has been the worst year this far. The worst month this year for crypto hacks and fraud cases. Almost 350 million US dollars were lost in crypto hacks. Most of them were in CFI, centralized finance, but the difference is not much. DeFi is almost 46%, and CFI is 54%, right? So they're almost neck and neck. Um, we covered Poloniex and HTX hacks in the previous episodes of weekly news recaps. And As we can see here, Poloniex, Kyber Swap, as we learned last week, and HTX exchange, etc. Most of these are centralized exchanges. Kyber Swap obviously is decentralized, but this has been a bad month for crypto. And why, particularly for Tron? As we let's take a look at this news. Nearly 70% of the 350 million we just saw lost in this month in crypto hacks linked to Justin Sun. So this is not going well for Justin Sun. The centralized entities have got Justin Sun's name over on them. I mean, he's got linkages and interests in these exchanges. I think it's going to be a very difficult year next year for Justin Sun. I am a bit worried about Ron. So let's hope that things settle down in the manner that Tron and Justice actually are able to show some substantial steps that they've taken in order to curtail not just hacks but also money laundering and terrorist financing. So that is why this that is why I wanted to cover all of these news items together. All right, let's move on to some positive news for those who are not CBDC fans. It's obviously not, but Japan has become a government that has probably the first government that has uh, partnered with Circle, the founders of USDC stablecoin, to set up their national CBDC. Right. So Circle and SBI Holdings will join forces to promote USDC and Web3 services in Japan, capitalizing on the recent regulatory change. So, what does it mean? Circle, the company behind USDC, has entered into a strategic partnership with Tokyo based financial services to facilitate the adoption of USDC and Web3 services in Japan. So, good news for USDC, and obviously good news for Circle. As part of this partnership, SBI Holdings will be providing banking services to Circle as well. So Circle will enjoy the status of a bank probably in Japan. Is that what it means? Um, I'm not sure. But this is a unique partnership. We don't see this very often. But it's certainly very bullish for USDC as or not USDC but Circle as a company, and a lot of people are actually hoping to participate in the Circle IPO that might come next year. So this kind of news is obviously bullish for them. Moving on, Brazil is going to slap 15% crypto tax on overseas exchanges starting next year. So Brazil has joined the list of countries that will be imposing taxes on crypto transactions. Brazilians earning over 100,200 US dollars annually from foreign based exchanges are the ones that are being targeted here, and they will have to pay 15% starting next year once this is ratified into a law by the president. So Thailand also is looking at introducing some kind of a tax, and it's very obvious as they realize that cryptocurrencies are becoming more and more prevalent, and becoming a alternative means of wealth accumulation or generation. Uh, so it's not surprising that Brazil and Thailand are going to impose taxes on it. Other countries will do as well. Moving on. Now, this is an interesting news. We don't see real world asset protocols getting hacked every now and then. But this is why it is quite interesting. And we'll look at the kind of hack. We'll just read through the details and it'll tell you how easy it is for users to get manipulated into sending their tokens to a wrong token address. So the protocol reported a loss of 1.45 million US dollars, USDC, sorry, in an attack called address poisoning, right? So, what is address poisoning? Address poisoning is an example of a scammer creating an address that resembles one that the victim has actually previously used. So it will have the same couple of digits, letters in the front and in the back. They use a special kind of address generator to create a nearly identical address, and then they will send a very tiny amount of crypto from that newly created address into the user's wallet so that it comes into the history, And when the victim wants to send the amount to the original address, they will go through the history and find the similar looking address, copy it from there without realizing that it's actually a not the correct address, but it's something which was which is the incorrect address, and that is how they end up sending funds to the wrong address. Now this can happen to anybody, friends. So um, makes it all the more important for us to be very sure that we don't copy addresses from our history. We copy it from the original source. Every time we go there, get the address copied from there, and just some things to keep in mind. I didn't realize that something like this is even possible, but it is very easy according to this report, at least. So $1.45 million dollars were lost by this RWA protocol because of such an attack. Moving on. Oh, we've covered these two news. The last news of the week is Arbitrum related, where Rarible, the NFT marketplace, has come out and said that they would like to create a layer 3 on top of Arbitrum Nitro. Now, if you understand or if you know the different role of frameworks we have, Arbitrum is the only one that actually has a layer 3 roll up framework wherein you can create a layer 3 blockchain without any, just by using the stack that they have published. But if you want a layer 2, then you have to go through the approval of the DAO. Unlike other layer 2s like Optimism or Polygon, where you can actually create a layer 2 directly using their stack, right? So Rarible actually has made this decision, and this is good news for Arbitrum. Arbitrum has been seeing the bulk of the activity, and as we saw last week, Arbitrum is going to be the layer 2 of choice, at least for the time being, because it's enjoying the bulk of the TVL and transactions at the moment. So here we are, folks. That's the end of the news recap. I hope you liked it, and I will see you next week with another weekly crypto news recap. Bye bye.